Video Barbershop. Let's talk about video transformations, scaling and shifting, offsetting video. The fourth button here deals with video scales and offsets, and very simple set of controls. Um, what this is designed for, in this video, you can see it's a Atom. It's a commercial from the 80s for the Atom computer. My capture card actually gives a little bit of padding. You can see there's this black down at the bottom here and along this left edge, or a right edge rather. The left edge is a little, it's got a, it's not so great either. But I don't know why my capture card does this, but it drives me absolutely crazy. There's other commercials that are even worse than this. It must have been some part of the signal from the television and the type of VCR that recorded it. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating. But the way that I like to deal with this is depending on, like I said, bottom and right is where my padding is. So I'm gonna set this to the top left corner, and I'm gonna increase the scale of the X to pull this side out a little bit and kind of squeeze it out. Well, maybe that's a little too much. Yeah. Well, let's go for that. And then scale the Y and increase its height. Now, because I snapped it to the top left, when I increase the scale of the height, you'll see it'll drop down in the bottom. There. Now it's does great. So for this next little bit here, I can actually throw it into the other corner. Though it'll have the padding and you could scale it and kind of, you can see now this edge is clean, but I don't really want to do that. But what I can do is I can offset it. So let's offset it into the negative, and it should, as you can see on that left edge, it'll kind of creep over a little bit there and clean itself up. The right edge I've scaled enough so it doesn't look so bad, but we can always just kind of scale it up a little tick, and that looks pretty clean, covering the entire screen. So to keep the proportions correct, you could always kind of make sure your scale is correct. I mean, for these small little tweaks, it probably won't matter, probably won't notice. But so effectively, what you're doing is scaling. Now I'm gonna make this pretty dramatic so you can see the difference, but you can scale the video to whatever size, and you can snap it to the various parts of the screen. And as you can see, this border here represents what your output video, the bounds of the actual output video would be relative to what you're doing here. So it's especially helpful to see letterboxing. Now I'm just going to reset this all and then scale this back down so it's a little easier to see, and so that the offset isn't affecting it. But what you can do too is when you create a clip, you get these export controls, and in the resolution you can start playing around with outputting these to different resolutions. Now, you can't see this below because it's getting cut off on the screen, but I also have Instagram portrait as a resolution you can do. And so the oh, look at that. Well, that looks like I actually have a bit of a bug that I need to, let's see if in the clip, oh, there's the clip. Okay, so if I do, oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, now is a good time to talk about that Video Barbershop is in beta, and you may come across some bugs. When you've downloaded it through TestFlight with the free download and the link in the description of the YouTube channel, you can send me feedback, and you can send me screenshots, and that would be really great if you send me a screenshot, include all this. If you hit Command Shift 4, you can take a screenshot of a selected area, and you can do that and send that to me, and it'll save that off, and I can see exactly what you're talking about when you send me feedback. It would be fantastic for that. So this is a bug I'll have to address in a later update, but when you select a clip, you will see the specific output of your video and this clip formatted to whatever resolution you have selected. Now normally it'll default to the same resolution as your video itself, or you can create some other, select some other resolutions. I even have 4K as well, but there is TikTok resolution, which is slightly different than Instagram, and so let's do TikTok there, or Reels if you're into Reels, 9:16, and so you can see the scaling. It not only scales the video from your original, but it scales it relative to whatever format you're doing here from what it would have been. Now, in the clip itself, you can go through and override what you have, and we can set that back to normal scales. This is the reset to revert it to the default settings of a 1.0 scale. And as you can see, when you have a different resolution from your video itself, it'll automatically letterbox it for you. I'm scaling it and fitting it into whatever resolution. Now this is originally VCR 640 by 480. It's getting scaled up and fitting and letterboxing into a TikTok reel, which is great. You can then output this and upload it to TikTok. What you may want to do is add some additional elements above and below here, and in a later video I'll talk about how you can add watermarks. With this button you can add a watermark, and I'm practically showing it right here, but I'll save it for another video. You can add a watermark. You can do a similar thing with the watermark, and you can basically put additional graphics that you've created over your video. Now, what you can also do is if you have a video, let's say we're actually going a little more widescreen with this, and so you have the 640 by 480 within the borders of this widescreen format. You have some black here, and you can throw in a watermark, additional information. But let's say you created a graphic and you wanted the video off to the left and a much larger column of information or graphics on the right that you can watermark and put over it. You can do that and just offset the X off into the side until you're happy with where it is, and then you can put your watermark over it. Now, one of the great things about this that is fun to know is that when you export as a QuickTime movie using the ProRes alpha transparency support, the 4444 codec, this supports alpha transparency, and so this letterboxed border here is actually transparent under this format and codec. And so if you do use some of the larger video salons, the video suites that are much more complicated, have the multi-track video compositions to do layering. Video Barbershop is incredibly streamlined and efficient at clipping and cleaning clips, and it has a number of extra little features to give you a little something extra for your clips themselves. But if you do use one of these other programs like Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, or um, wow, what's the other one? Open source one. I'm totally blanking now. But if you do use them, you can obviously import these into those, and this will be transparent, so you can throw a background under it. You can do, a lot of fun stuff with it. But it's worth knowing that anytime there's any kind of letterboxing that goes on, if you export it as a .mov with the alpha support, not one of these other codecs, just the alpha. 4444 supports the alpha, and that'll be automatically in there. So there's a lot of fun stuff in here to play around with, and hope you give it a try. That is video transformations of scaling and offsetting. And thank you for downloading the beta for free and sending me feedback, especially if you find bugs like that. I'd really appreciate it. All right, thank you so much.